S-Word, featuring Will Gavin and Master Fascian. And a squad of big-name contributors. The S-Word from talkSPORT.
Well, a very good morning to our brethren on the East Coast at 8 a.m, West Coast at 5 a.m, and all across North America. We're here. It's the S-Word, and we're live for the next 2 hours with the hottest World Cup roundup this side of the Mississippi. I don't even know what that means. I just said it. I'm Will Gavin, live in London, and certainly south of the Mississippi is the wonderful Master Fascian, who is in Guadalajara, Mexico, ahead of Colombia against DR Congo tonight. What a show we've got coming up for you today. We're going to dip straight into the record books as Lionel Messi breaks that World Cup tally. 17th and 18th goals last night in a 2-0 win over Austria, which sees Argentina through at the top of the group. Is the GOAT debate finally settled? We're also going to do our GOAT draft today. So we're going to draft our all-time sporting GOATs from across the entire pantheon. A lot of debate going on in the studio with my Englishman over whether I should include the likes of Phil the Power Taylor and Ronnie O'Sullivan on my list, or whether that might be a little too obtuse for our American audience. Master's face
100%.
Sensational
Absolutely.
on that.
It is.
I might just do all Brits from the most random sports humanly possible to make.
When have British athletes been the greatest at anything?
When it's pub sports like snooker and darts, my friend. That's when. Also coming up, we will look back on all the action.
Those are sports?
From last night. Yes, sir. Yes, they are. We will look back on all of the action from last night. 4 big games, and of course, wearing the 3 Lions loud and proud today as England are back in action tonight at 10 p.m. against Ghana. Jim Proudfoot will join the show to look forward to that. Julio Arca is here, Northeast football legend, former Argentine youth player, to of course talk about Messi and that victory yesterday. Plus Erik Bielderman on Les Blues cruising to a 3-0 victory last night despite the weather delay. Plus Algeria with a great win. All coming up right here on the S-Word, sponsored by Calci.
Come on, England. Go ahead.
You don't need to play the drop. I'll do it myself. Master, how are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm glad you found a New England shirt. I haven't seen this one yet.
Hey, there's a pantheon. Let me tell you, there is a plethora. I've used pantheon twice in the first 2 minutes. I feel so smart today. I've had a trim. I'm wearing a nice new shirt. Oh, I'm ready to go.
The glasses, everything. Yeah, you're going with a new look here. But I like this. This one looks better on you. I'll tell you this much, because you wore the other one out. I'm telling you right now, you wore the other one for about 10 times on the show already. It's nice to see you change it up.
I've worn it 3 times on the show, and I may well wear it tomorrow because I don't have.
You brought it out at least another 7. Let's be honest.
You're wearing the same Mexico tracksuit that you wore last time Mexico played. I'm not out here in my sombrero. Yeah. I'm not out here in my sombrero and my poncho again. Actually, the sombrero and poncho in there, just perfect. Good stuff.
Hey, listen. Hey,
we'll bust that out later. Don't you worry.
You could use it. Listen. Yesterday was Mas Fiesta. Well, 2 days ago was Mas Fiesta. Last night was Mas Siesta. I know we saw the weather delays that were going on in some of these matches, but it was also pouring rain here in Guadalajara as well. So El Niño's in full effect, and we'll see what kind of impact that has on the World Cup moving forward.
Let's kick off then by talking about last night's games and a historic night of football as Lionel Messi officially ascended to the throne of the World Cup's greatest ever goalscorer.
And it's in towards Lisandro Martinez. The challenge made inside the penalty area. The ball is still loose. Penalty kick has been given to Argentina. Messi going for World Cup goal number 17 here. But it's saved! Schlager has saved it!
Well, it just showed that Messi, even he is human.
And here is Messi! And that's the moment they came for! Lionel Messi becomes the World Cup's all-time top goal scorer. Sabitzer curls it, all turned away superbly by Martinez. It looked to be one for the cameras, but he had to get there, and he got the power on the parry to send it outside the area.
One I would expect him to be able to make, by the way.
Does Messi have the final word? No, it's blocked. Messi again! And this time he does score! Lionel Messi, simply unstoppable. He's swamped by his teammates. Once again, Messi is dominating this World Cup.
So a 2-0 victory for Argentina, 6 points from their opening group games, and Lionel Messi tops the Golden Boot rankings even after Mbappe with a brace last night. Haaland getting involved as well, but with 5 goals already, sitting pretty atop of that race. And listen, you heard all the stats last night, I'm sure. More World Cup goals after the age of 35 than almost any other player has in the entirety of their career. More than Pelé, more than Cristiano Ronaldo, more than so many of the other all-time greats. For 8 years ago, you think about it, the fact that he was going to retire from international football after the tournament in Russia. He came back for Qatar. He's come back for this one. He's won one. They've got to be amongst the favourites to win another. And despite being the first player ever to miss a penalty in 3 straight World Cups as well, it's not all roses for Lionel Messi. It just... a sensational string-pulling performance. Very different to maybe what he was in his prime, but Master, he continues to be the engine room for this team and continues to be the reason that they sit atop of this group.
I think it's quite shocking that he is the one that is carrying this Argentina side when, well, he turns 39 tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anyone went into this World Cup thinking that Messi would be carrying Argentina once again, let alone 4 years ago when they won the World Cup. We kind of all assumed this would be a swan song moment, making sure he went out on the right way and potentially his final World Cup. But the way he's performing right now, can we really rule out that he won't be participating in 2030? I mean, if he's doing this right now at what, 38, 39 years old, at 42 in an expanded World Cup format, I mean, it's ridiculous what's going on right now. 5 goals already to start off in the first 2 matches. And as you mentioned, once he missed that penalty, it kind of felt like, oh, say it ain't so. It was against an Algeria side that probably wasn't the strongest team, scoring that hat trick, and maybe this is where Argentina has to find ways to compensate for all the production that Messi provided against Argentina. But you couldn't have been more wrong. Scoring 2 more goals against Austria, completely dominating that match. And look, it's crazy to say this, but I mean, Argentina looks like one of the best teams in this tournament, and they look like a side that could once again return to the World Cup final and potentially win it.
When it comes to this conversation, listen, we fired off on the stream and already people getting up in the chat. You know, we've gone out there and we've teased the fact that is the GOAT debate over because he's now broken this record as well immediately, as you can imagine. Yeah, the Messi and Ronaldo purists are both very, very vehement in their beliefs, both find it very difficult to listen to the other side. They are all up in the chat already. 2 goals against an average Austria and suddenly Messi's a better player. Called us angry Pepsi fans, Kevin did, about this one, suggesting that Ronaldo is the Coke in this situation, I imagine. Overhyped Messi, said, let me be frank. Their coverage of him is unbearable, not ours. America's coverage, apparently, says, let me be frank. And Erik says, any debate is for the ignorance. CR7, super offensive player, recreated the winger position, but Messi is a divine, extraordinarily skilled person. And that is part of this, right? It can be a debate and it can be a conversation. Both of them have brought in a huge amount of footballing joy to our lives. Both of them have been absolutely unbelievable. And whether you believe one or the other is the greatest of all time, it's very difficult at this stage to argue that they're not 1 and 2 all time, because from my perspective, Andy Brassel came on last night. He was there to witness this yesterday. And he said, being amongst those Argentina fans, it was like a religious experience, seeing the way that Messi was held up. And I think it's wonderful, as much as missing a penalty is never wonderful. The fact that the goal that broke the record was the most stereotypically Messi goal of all time. The way he dropped deep to the halfway line, pulled all of those Austrian defenders out of position, sprayed the ball out, and then as the other 4 Argentine attackers all streaked into the box, forcing the Swiss back deep to their own goal line, he just, at 38 years old, drifted to the edge of that box, took up that space we've seen him take up so many times, a near telepathic link with Enzo Fernandez, who had a half a glance over the shoulder a couple of seconds earlier, but I've watched it from many angles. Messi doesn't call for it. There's no vocal shout. There's no look back from Fernandez. He just knows he's going to be there, leaves it through his legs. Messi with a great finish. And you might believe that Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest of all time. You might believe that Messi is. But when I think about footballing joy for me, when I think about the player that has just given me the most smiles in my life and the one that has brought the most just sighs of pure joy out of me, it's Leo Messi, and he did it again last night with that goal. It was glorious to watch.
I'm guessing who you feel like is the GOAT is pretty obvious.
For me personally, the player who's brought me more joy over the years is Messi. That is my choice. I'm not saying that there is no merit to the Ronaldo argument, but he is my GOAT.
Fair enough. I think there's a fair argument to be made on both sides. I think the most glaring thing, Will, I think right now is, this World Cup, we've seen all the big stars are making massive performances. They are making their presence felt. And, you always hope and wish that the biggest stars would show up and have big performances. And maybe because it's in America, this big platform, this big stage, the way we love to make everything a spectacle, that these world-class players are showing up and producing in unbelievable and incredible ways, making this one of the best group stages I've seen in my lifetime. The one that hasn't, though, is Cristiano Ronaldo. And I know it's only one match in, but, the time is ticking. Or Messi already has 5 goals in 2 matches. Mbappe has, 4 goals. Haaland's also contributing as well. Lamine Yamal got on the board in his first start. The question now, it was once at one point 4 years ago, people were asking, where's Messi after the Saudi match? After the first match, Spain, Cape Verde, people were asking, where's Lamine? It's fair to ask, where's CR7? Where is he? And until he shows up to the party, it's hard to argue otherwise of where Messi's spot lays in terms of the all-time greatest. And that's not dismissing at all everything that Cristiano Ronaldo has done throughout his career. I mean, he's had a tremendous career, particularly when you look at the Champions League. It's unquestionably his performances, his records, his accomplishments in the Champions League dwarf what Lionel Messi was able to accomplish. And one could argue that that's the best tournament annually that happens every year in a very, very difficult competition to win. And he was among the team that won it 3 straight times. So there are some unbelievable accolades that you can argue for Cristiano Ronaldo to become the greatest of all time. But this was supposed to be the one where he had a swan song moment. This was supposed to be the one where Portugal was viewed as a team that could win it all with the best midfield in the world. And Cristiano Ronaldo was supposed to be the guy up top that could help lead them to that position. And through one match so far, I mean, the pressure's just building up at this point. And if he doesn't deliver, it's going to be a huge disappointment for those that truly feel like Cristiano Ronaldo is better than Messi.
What kind of stands out to me as well on this fact, and when I described that goal, and when I look at these 2 Messi performances over these first 2 games, is Cristiano Ronaldo in his career had a couple of pretty distinct phases of how he played. And actually, when Cristiano Ronaldo moved from being a de facto winger who had cut inside, who was a goal threat, and actually moved to being a number 9, when he realised that maybe the pace wasn't as there anymore, when he could do more playing out as an out-and-out striker, we lauded him at the time for the fact that he was so changeable, that he'd suddenly taken up a second position, was so brilliant at it, and that's absolutely what we should be doing. Like, he deserved all the praise for that. He became this, obviously he's always been an unbelievable aerial threat, but he became the true kind of down-the-middle goal threat that he'd always kind of threatened to be from playing out wide. What stands to me for Ronaldo versus Messi now, just comparing these performances and what we've seen from Ronaldo in the flashes I've seen from the Saudi League, on talkSPORT, on the YouTube channel and everything else, is that Thierry Henry summed it up brilliantly when he talked about Ronaldo's positioning in that game and the fact that he's not necessarily there to move defenders for other people, that he's not necessarily there to create space for other players, that he's not there to support other players. And all the people who love Ronaldo came out and said that he wasn't well supported enough, that the midfield didn't pass enough. His own other half going out on social media and disliking any posts that praised the rest of the Portugal team and going out and slagging off those brilliant midfielders for not giving him enough supply. But it was very clear that the way that Messi is playing football now, he's not got the speed he once did. He's not necessarily going to be able to physically challenge. As a smaller guy, he's always been very physical in the tackle and always been able to hold himself up. Amazing what our friends in the NFL, when you talk about running backs, called contact balance, has always been sensational. But he is a guy who, what I saw from him in these 2 games is the picking and choosing, the drifting into the spaces, the knowing that he's so tracked by every player on the pitch because he can do something special, that that goal is an example. This is an Austrian team who are well drilled. This is an Austrian team who defensively don't give a lot up. And for them to all be so out of position because Messi has drifted to the left-hand side in midfield and suddenly 4 of them are out of their natural position, I think all just shows how much influence he still has on the game. Obviously, the 5 goals is sensational and it just absolutely screams from the mountaintop. But if Messi had only scored 1 of these 5 goals but had been as influential on the games, you'd still be looking at it going, it's amazing how much he affects the play at 38, nearly 39 years old.
Yeah, I know you talk about the Austria team. You're gassing them up. I wasn't really big. Really, I wasn't that high on them going into this tournament. I don't think they really had too many game changers or difference makers in this World Cup. They're kind of one of those pedestrian European sides that finds a way to make it in, and they'll probably find a way to make it out of the knockouts and lose in the group of 32. It's not all of that of an impressive side, in my opinion. So for those that may be criticizing the level of play in which, it is what it is. Like the simple fact that, again, he's doing this at 38, about to turn 39 tomorrow, I think is the most impressive part about all of this, regardless of who he's facing. The question now, though, is this sustainable? Because we thought coming into this World Cup that he had an injury knock that maybe could have impacted his level of play or performances or his availability potentially going into this World Cup. And we haven't seen anything to likes of that to this point. But what happens when Argentina, needs to depend on other players? And they have those players to do so. There were arguments, and we've had people on the show as well come on arguing that, hey, Argentina could be potentially play better without Messi as they did in World Cup qualifiers. It's a scary thought to think that Messi can carry this team to this point right now, and at a certain point they're going to need other players to score a goal or carry the load at a certain point, because again, he is getting older. He is 39. It's going to be fascinating to see who of those players that step up. Is it Enzo? Is it Julian Alvarez? Now that he's back and fit as well, there's a lot of options for this Argentina side, and you look at the bracket as well. At this point, it's a very favorable bracket for Argentina. Like this side.
You've been loving those as it stands brackets. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I'm literally looking at them right now. I'm looking at it right now. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm not going to lie.
I love these.
I've started to pay a little bit more attention to them as well as we get into the latter part.
Mr. Match Day 3 doesn't matter.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
I'm getting really hyped about it. The thing is, so we've just booked today a table for what would be England's round of 32 game if they top the group after tonight. Basically, everywhere in the London Bridge area is booking out.
So hold your horses.
Listen, everywhere in the London Bridge area, because it's a 5 p.m. game, not a late game. It's all booking out. But we were looking at them going, hold on. USA have already topped their group. That means here in London, they're going to be the 1 a.m. game on the night that we're the 5 p.m. game, should we top the group. Let's book a table for somewhere. Let's go out straight after the show. Let's watch the England game. And then Sam doesn't know this yet, but we're all back to producer Sam's to watch the 1 a.m. USA game. I'm getting
FOMO
the show
right now.
next Thursday morning when we're all in absolute state and you're probably at the game and, we're all kind of struggling to put ourselves back together, whether that's win, lose. Well, you can't tie. This is a knockout game, but you know what I mean.
No, you can't. But real quick, to talk about the as it stands, the live bracket, right now Argentina would face Uruguay in the group of 32, and their side of the bracket, you've got Australia, Iran, Canada, Belgium, Colombia, and Paraguay. I mean, you mean to tell me that that's not a side that could at least make it, at minimum, to the semifinal? It is, at this point in the way it's laid out right now, Argentina is maybe at a collision course to make it to the World Cup final with the performances they're getting right now from Messi, the talent that they have on the team, and the favorable bracket at this point. It's hard to argue against them, no matter how much you love or hate Lionel Messi.
We're going to talk to Julio Arca coming up momentarily, the former Middlesbrough and Sunderland fullback, former Argentina player as well. And we'll get a sense of what the wider feeling is on the team. Is this just purely Messi-driven? Can they succeed without him if he's not the one getting all the goals? Just a quick mention of France last night. Absolutely clinical. We get that huge rain delay in Philadelphia. Initially, they say 15 minutes. It goes on for nearly 2 hours. They basically kick back off at the same time that Senegal against Norway is kicking off. A great game in and of itself that we'll touch on later in the show as well. But just a mention for Michael Elise, the move inside that we saw in the second half last week. He starts this game there, and yeah, France just look like a team who, if they're coming up against certainly lesser opposition, are just going to take you to pieces.
They are, because Kylian Mbappe is on a mission. It's funny because we're talking all this about Lionel Messi and the goal scoring record and all that. Well, this is going to be a short-lived record. Kylian Mbappe is nipping at the heels of Lionel Messi, and this guy looks like he is driven to break this record by the end of this tournament. Yeah. Kylian Mbappe looks like a guy that watched Lionel Messi play, score that brace, break that record, and just kind of did the Cam Newton head nod meme and was like, "Don't worry, I've got this."
Give me some of that.
you know, it's Mbappe's his mindset. There was a commercial in the late 90s here in the United States between Michael Jordan and Mia Hamm, and infamous, legendary, iconic commercial. Anything you can do, I can do better. And it just leaned on these two icons where Michael Jordan is crossing over Mia Hamm, and Mia Hamm is literally putting Michael Jordan on skates on the pitch. And then it goes off into them doing fencing and track and field and all these different sports, just talking about their competitive drives. And that pretty much epitomizes who Kylian Mbappe is. He saw Lionel Messi do that performance and said, anything you can do, I can do better. This is the same sicko that saw Brahim Diaz miss a Panenka in the AFCON final, then did it a week later for Real Madrid, a Panenka when he was at the spot, and pointed at Brahim Diaz and said, this is for you. like this is the guy we're dealing with here. I have no doubt in my mind, Mbappe would love nothing more than to make sure Lionel Messi has this record for at most 2 to 3 weeks. And by the end of this tournament, you check the standings and you check the all-time goal scoring record at the World Cup, and Kylian Mbappe somehow, some way finds himself ahead of Lionel Messi by the end of the summer. No question.
Well, listen, we're going to have this coming up. We're going to have Erik Bielderman joining us a little bit later, because is there a question mark over against top teams whether there's just a little too much je ne sais quoi at the front end of the field for that French team? Is there not enough? Do they almost have too much attacking talent and not enough defensively? Because 4 players who all like to stay in the final third might be a little too much. We'll get with that.
Are you questioning that? But you're not questioning Argentina and the competition they face. We're going
to be questioning Argentina coming up shortly. Don't you worry. We'll talk Norway, Senegal as well. And it's lovely that you talk about Mia Hamm and Michael Jordan, because later, after 2 o'clock our time, after 9 a.m. Eastern, we're doing the GOAT draft, baby. We are picking all-time GOATs from every sport. Those could be 2 names that very much come up in that conversation. Stick with us. Very much so. Here on the S Word, sponsored by Kalshi.
Bringing all the biggest football debates stateside. The S Word from talkSPORT. From kickoff to the full-time whistle. Don't say the S word. Say the F word. Football. The S Word from talkSPORT.
Hey, you're back with the S Word on talkSPORT. Will Gavin here in London, Master Tesfazian live in Guadalajara, Mexico. Later in the show, we'll talk some Norway, Senegal. We've got an amazing clip from our friends at Fox Soccer of an interview that talkSPORT's very own Katie Shanahan did with Erling Haaland after the game. The brutal honesty of that man is a true joy, I'm not going to lie. Also coming up, Erik Bielderman. We'll talk about Kylian Mbappe. We'll talk about France's chances in this tournament, the clinical Les Bleus. We've got Jim Proudfoot joining us to preview the England game, and we're going to be doing our GOAT draft, all still to come on the show. This is the S Word, sponsored by Kalshi. Loads of people getting up in the comments, unsurprisingly, considering the topic for today's show. Damaki says he missed a bleeding penalty. How does that make him the greatest? Hey, 18 goals when you've missed 3 penalties as well. Should be 21, arguably.
If we learned anything from last World Cup, he also made a lot of penalties too.
Chris says, I love CR7, but to me, Messi is out of this world. Ollie says, Ronaldo's huge ego ruins his legacy for me. It's difficult to me, because yes, he is arrogant. Yes, he has an ego. But as our friend Zlatan Ibrahimovic told the guys on Fox Soccer, an ignorant person calls it arrogance. An intelligent person calls it confidence. So surely, I sat here and said I praised Jude Bellingham's confidence, so why should I be here tearing down CR7's confidence? I'd be talking about both sides.
It's refreshing to hear an Englishman speaking of confidence and not calling it arrogance, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm arrogant about tonight against Ghana. Quite a few people getting involved in that as well. Pat Santa saying, come on, Ghana, from a Bonnie Scott.
Is that the witch doctor cursing the Harry Kane? Is that what we got in the comments?
John then calls him a jealous W. I think you know what word I mean. And Griffin just says Kylian Mbappe, 27 in his prime, will undoubtedly break the record. And a few shouts for Maradona as the GOAT as well. I have to say personally,
listen, 86 World Cup. I will say this much: 86 World Cup. The carry job that he did for that one, when he put Argentina on his back for that one. That one is still it's hard to argue against Maradona being the greatest player that we've seen ever. And also the World Cup GOAT.
I think I have someone who may have an opinion on that. He is a Northeast football legend joining the show now, with all his time at Sunderland and Middlesbrough, and of course an Argentine to boot. So I'm sure he'll have enjoyed last night's festivities greatly. The wonderful Julio Arca is with us on the show. Julio, how are you, brother? Thank you so much. Absolutely wonderful to see you. Gracias for joining us.
No problem.
Just start off with last night, Argentina. I mean, do we have superlatives left for Lionel Messi at this point?
Well, I mean, it's hard to describe, what else he can do. It's been outstanding. Saying that, I don't think yesterday he had a great game, but even him not having a great game, he's still scoring 2 goals. And he's 5 in the tournament already. So, but yeah, he's been incredible, not just this World Cup for the last probably 15 years or more. And that's the difference when we talk about Maradona and him, because obviously people like to compare him with Maradona. Maradona was fantastic. I think he's everyone's hero in Argentina. But to do what Messi done for the last 15 years, I'm not sure if anyone else can replicate that.
Which is so fascinating, because it came to a point where everyone kept comparing to Maradona, obviously, and thinking he could never surpass his legacy. But it feels like the 2022 World Cup and now these performances he's producing right now, is that debate over in itself? Has Messi surpassed Maradona's legacy in Argentina?
Well, I think it's a debate. I mean, it's a lot of people that like Messi more than Maradona, because when you're looking as a whole package, as a person, just inside and outside of football, probably people prefer Messi, but obviously Maradona was an unbelievable player. Obviously have a different kind of style life outside football, but I think if it wasn't for that, Maradona could have been even better.
Listen, Julio, there has never been love lost between our footballing nations, hugely. We were both young men when Diego Maradona, 40 years ago, handled the ball into the back of the net. The fact that this goal came to make Lionel Messi the record World Cup goal scorer on the 40th anniversary of Diego Maradona scoring both the biggest cheat goal of all time, followed by maybe the greatest World Cup goal of all time 3 minutes later, is just sensational within itself. But to me, it speaks to why Lionel Messi is so wonderful, because he's made me enjoy Argentine football in a way that between Maradona and Diego Simeone in 2002 with David Beckham and everything else meant that I had no love lost for Argentine football. And yet I want to see Argentina do well because I love watching Messi so much.
Well, I mean, it probably be his last World Cup, so hopefully we see Messi all the way to the end, because that means that we're going to see him for a lot more World games. But again, obviously, every World Cup is difficult. Argentina are going to have difficult games ahead. So we're going to have to be step by step. Definitely, I believe it's one of the candidate nations to hopefully achieve the World Cup again. But you're going to compete like, nations like France, Spain, and many others. So, yeah, it's not going to be an easy one. But obviously having him in our nation makes things a lot easier.
Do you think this will be his last World Cup? Because I looked at this World Cup at 38 years old thinking maybe he's going to shoulder some of the load off of himself. Argentina's a very talented side. A lot of these different players coming in. There's some good depth on the side. And yet Messi's been carrying the load as he turns 39 tomorrow. Now my mind's thinking, can this be his last World Cup? Can he return 4 years from now, 42 years old, and contribute to Argentina in some shape or form or capacity? Because those players clearly love playing for him.
Well, I mean, it could be the first 43-year-old playing a World Cup, I guess. But I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how long he's thinking about carry on playing. I mean, if he carry on looking after himself the way he's looking now, I've no doubt that he can easily play 2, 3, 4 more years. But I'm not sure if he want to compromise to carry on playing in the national team, But let's enjoy him now. Let's enjoy him hopefully till the end on my side, and then see what happens afterwards.
Listen, Julio, do you believe that there is enough elsewhere in this Argentine squad? Because there's undoubtedly talented players, but you said it yourself, not Messi's biggest game in terms of contributions. He still clearly affects the opposition so much, but if he's not making those decisive moments happen, do you think Argentina have enough to win this competition if he's not firing?
I think they got a good squad. They changed few players this World Cup. They got some new, younger faces that they're very talented. And obviously, it's a mix of experienced players from last World Cup. And they got a good manager. They got a good group of people looking after them. So I believe they got a good team. Obviously, the further you go in the competition, the harder the games are going to get. and that's when you really get tested. I'm pretty sure next game they probably look after some players because, well, they qualify now. So, but yes, I believe they got a good team and they've been playing together for a long time. And the main thing is like the group of players that we have now is a very good group of players. They're getting on well each other. There's no egos in the team. So that's something make a massive difference in this kind of tournaments.
You talked about this team, and I think what Christian Romero came off with the injury as well. Is there any concern potentially with any spots where you're still a bit worried about that could toward a possibility of Argentina repeating as World Cup champions?
Well, I know obviously he was carrying out an injury before the Premier League season ended. So I'm not sure if he has something to do with his knee again or if it's something minor. But I'm pretty sure he's probably one of the players that is going to be resting next game. And obviously we got Otamendi. Yes, he's a bit older than him with a lot of experience, and he's all the players in the squad that can do that position as well. So I don't think that could create a problem for the team.
Julio, how confident are you right now then? Come on. How confident are you that you're going to go? We've been talking about the draw. So far it's setting up quite nicely depending on what happens elsewhere.
Really nice.
Like you might end up in the quarter of the draw, yes. The quarter of the draw, Master, which gives you the nicest route through to the semi-finals. Like, should Argentina be bored? Should you be buoyed and ready to go on a deep run in this competition?
Well, personally, I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Yesterday, I had my family next to me, and we all like happy and celebrating another win. But look, last World Cup, we really have to suffer, especially in the final. And to go through that again, it's gonna be hard. But hopefully, Argentina could reach a final. As I say. Personally, I'd love to see them again in the final, but I know it's not going to be easy, and you know that obviously it's not going to be easy.
Julio, we really appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much for coming on. And
no problem. Thanks very much. Have a good day.
Wonderful stuff. The brilliant Julio Arca joining us here on the S Word. Master, do you want to talk a bit about that Norway-Senegal performance last night? Because we've not got onto that one yet. How much were you able to pay it, basically? Because we had, for the first time in this tournament, 2 matches at the same time, thanks to the weather delay. I certainly, from my perspective, I think this was an incredibly even game, and actually Senegal may be unlucky not to get something from it, but Norway just so much more clinical. Maybe Senegal unlucky not to get a penalty in the second half. I thought that looked like a handball to me.
Yeah, there's a case and argument to be made from that, and I'm curious when we get Christina on to hear about whether that was a handball or not. But I'm really disappointed by the Senegalese side. I truly am. Coming out the gates, they gave a tough fight, obviously, to France. And in here in Norway, I really was expecting more from them. The first 3 minutes, they are just an onslaught of corners that they were dealing with because of the size that Norway provided. That it was inevitable that Norway was going to find the back of the net early on. And Senegal's ability to finish and lack of a finishing quality has been incredibly disappointing. I mean, again, this was a side that won AFCON, toted their trophy all around the world, bragged about being AFCON champions. And going into the friendlies, the 2 friendlies they had before the World Cup, they lost to the United States, and I believe they drew against Saudi Arabia. And I was one to just kind of scoff it off and dismiss it and say, hey, they've shown they can win in big tournaments already this year. They'll come up and show up. It became a bit of a too little too late at the end of that game. Obviously, they were able to draw the 2-1, then Holland scores once again, and then they find the second goal in stoppage time. They're incredibly fortunate that their goal differential only right now is -3, because at a certain point, it was at a -5 goal differential, and it pretty much was all but mathematically eliminated that Senegal would find a way to get into the knockout stage. And still right now, sitting at the bottom of the third place standings, and there's a lot of room they'll have to make up against Iraq to make up with that goal differential. But I expected so much more from them. I expected them. This was a team I thought that would make a deep run, could potentially challenge France and Norway in this group. It could potentially win this group. And that just has not been the Senegal side I've seen. A lot of inconsistencies, certain moments of play where you could see the quality, you could see that that's the side that has been the best side in Africa. But over the course of 90 minutes, it has been incredibly disappointing. And I know there's also some other things that have come out And again, how much of these are true in terms of situations and issues going on within their camp? I'm very curious to see, as more reporting is done on that, the extent of which all of these, tweets and conversations about what's going on behind the scenes in Senegal are true. But this clearly just does not look like the same Senegalese side that I saw in AFCON, and it is incredibly frustrating to see.
I thought, from a Norway perspective, to praise their performance, they pounced on every error. They got to every second ball. Like they consistently won in midfield. Odegaard looked great last night and hooked up really well. And actually, sometimes you get these fortunate situations that happen in football, right, where you have to make a change early doors. Julian Ryerson comes off right back. They have to bring Marcus Holmgren Pedersen on. He gets not only a goal, but it felt like they were playing with that mid block, and they're playing in such a stable way at the back, and then they bring on this much more attacking fullback because they have to, because that's the only option they have on the bench, and suddenly he just seems to unlock something, and suddenly all of the attacks are coming down that side, and it just freed something up and changed something up a little bit, and really seemed to open this game up. So yeah, listen, I thought Norway were good value for their win overall, but Senegal with the late opportunities, for me, it is a penalty. When you jump with your arms up in the air that high and they are away from your body, it's an unnatural arm position. I know it is hit from point blank range, but I'm surprised it didn't even seem to go to VAR. We got no confirmation of a review. And yes, that was at 3-1. They scored again after that. But, if they score there ever so slightly earlier, is there enough time for an equaliser and what it means for the rest of it? Because now Senegal need to go, and they need to go and win impressively in the final group stage game. Otherwise, they could well be out of this tournament. A team that, Michael Lahoud, who I trust and think is an excellent analyst, had this as being the deepest going African team, and there was a chance they could be that team. And yes, they've come up against some very difficult opposition to start the tournament, but that can't take away from the disappointment in their performances.
Well, but the effort is the thing that you talked about, though. The effort was absolutely lacking from Senegal. The desire, the going for 50-50 balls, and when the play is in contention and finding ways to create chances, it just, outside of Ismail Assar, there was a certain point where I'm wondering who's going to step up, who's going to make some plays, who's going to drive the Senegalese side over the adversity that they're facing right now, because they knew what the schedule was, and they were up for it, and they should have been up for it, but the performances otherwise have not shown that they were up for it, and particularly here in Norway. I thought this was incredibly disappointing. There's no other way to put it at this point. And if they don't make it into the knockout stage, then it will be honestly the biggest disappointment in this World Cup, and it'll be well deserved, because nothing from their performances in the group stage suggests that this is a team that deserves to be in the knockout stage.
Well, listen, we will be talking more about that a little bit later in the show, because we will have some brilliant Erling Haaland video to bring you later on. We're going to do a Fan Appreciation Society later in the show. We've got our GOAT draft still to come, plus Erik Bielderman will be here to break down France's 3-0 victory last night. A clinical Les Bleus, but will they struggle against some better opposition? Certainly the feeling in the French press is that...
There you go.
This is not from me. The feeling in the French press is that there is maybe too much flair and not enough work in this team. So we'll get Eric's opinion on that. But weirdly, the
pessimistic French press.
Weirdly, it's the same people who are also saying that if you're going to drop one of those front four before the tournament, they were saying it'd be Kylian Mbappe. So swings and roundabouts, right? That's coming up in the second hour. But up next, the brilliant Jim Proudfoot joins us live from New England ahead of England against Ghana. It's rainy, it's cold, it's set up for Premier League football on the S Word.
The daily deep dive into the world of football. The S Word from talkSPORT. talkSPORT presents the S Word. Get your full-on football fix from across the football galaxy. The S Word from talkSPORT.
You're back with the S Word here on talkSPORT, sponsored by Calci. I'm Will Gavin alongside Master Tez Fatty, and I'm live here in London, coming up to 9 a.m. Eastern, and out in Guadalajara, Mexico, where he's just sent a bunch of very fun-looking videos from his travels yesterday, is the wonderful Master Tez Fatty. How is Mas Fiesta going for you? 10 or so days in. We thought you were going for 2 days and coming back. Now you're in Mexico joining us from a hotel room. Literally, I was sat in the makeup chair earlier where I get my hair and makeup done because, you know, prima donna and everything. And I got, by the way, when is Master coming back? And I just had to go, well, I don't know. But he's having a good time.
I'm having a great time. Guadalajara has been unbelievable. Hopefully we can send some videos in and show some videos to the audience later on in the show. But I'm having a blast, Will. The Fan Fest alone, it's a free Fan Fest. The thing is about as big as like a music festival. And it is in downtown. It is free. Everyone is down there. They're dancing, celebrating. You see fans from all parts of the world. It has truly been a true joy. My only thing, Will, is it has been a lot of traveling.
It's Mass Fiesta. That's the problem.
There's been a lot.
Last night, a little early sleep for you.
My siesta last night. I needed a hydration break, a yellow card probably as well. It just kind of. Take it a little easy.
Well, look, in the second hour,
take a touch, as Gab would say. I need to take a touch.
We're going to look forward to some of the other games that are going on tonight. Colombia, DR Congo is your time? Is that like 8 p.m. kickoff local? So you've got a lot of games to watch.
Yes.
Before that, Portugal take on Uzbekistan. We'll preview that. Panama against Croatia, also in England's group, I'm delighted to say. The main event for us here, this side of the pond, is England against Ghana. 9 p.m. kickoff in the UK. 4 p.m. to do the quick maths there, out in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm delighted to say the man that'll be calling the game for talkSPORT tonight, the legend that is Jim Proudfoot, joins the show right now. Jim, how are you doing, sir? In what looks like a cold East London afternoon rather than the heat that we've been used to.
It is a cold Rhode Island morning is what it is here. It is actually pretty chilly compared to the rest of the weather that we've had since we were stateside. Florida was great. Texas was wonderful. Here in the Northeast, we've been greeted by rain, storms, cold, biting wind. It's just like being in Hampshire in February. It isn't really.
Honestly, I've been in Foxborough in a late November, early December game. 19 degrees and slightly rainy. Trust me, Jim, is nothing compared to what it can get like up there. But might suit England a little bit better tonight.
It might do. I mean, I think that the one thing that they have to guard against potentially, and we saw it in the France game yesterday, is the potential for weather interruptions. I mean, that is a live factor today. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. It's not going to be the oppressive heat that could have caused the problem. Listen, there have been plenty of games in Foxborough in World Cup history back in 1994 where it was stifling conditions. That would have been really bad for England. This won't be today.
Jim, I'd like to ask you about... We've had a lot of conversations, obviously, about Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka, their health situations, whether they should start this match or not. How would you play their fitness situations going into this Ghana match and trying to preserve their longevity throughout this tournament?
Okay, I think the Saka one is pretty easy, Master. I think that you just leave him out. You play Noni Madueke today. He is training now, Bukayo. He's taking full part in training from what we understand. But I think you leave him out today. You don't have to play him today. You don't have to play him against Panama. Noni Madueke has been playing well. So leave Noni in, and then you've got Saka available for the real crunch games later on in the tournament. That's how I would play it. Declan's a little bit more nuanced now. Thomas Tuchel said after the game that he took him off with 15 minutes to go because Dec was pointing to his lower back and his upper hamstring, which is a recurrence of an existing problem, just a niggling problem. But the manager said that he felt that he misplaced a couple of passes, that he wasn't quite at his best, so he took him off. Now, in the press conference yesterday, where the pair of them sat together, it was noticeable that there was a real verbal arm around the shoulder of Declan Rice from his manager. The last question of the press conference was angled at Dec, and he gave an answer to it. I can't even remember what the question was. It was a generic question about world-class players elsewhere in the tournament. And then Thomas Tuchel, who hadn't been asked the question, interjected and said, but I'm delighted I've got a world-class player sat alongside me. So, and you saw Dec just colour up a little bit, and he was a little bit embarrassed at the platitudes that were coming his way. But I felt that was significant, that was a real arm round the shoulder. Look, I took you off, but that doesn't mean that I don't love you dearly, that I don't think that you are absolutely the right man for the job. So, listen, I've seen managers do that before when they've then left a player out the following day. I don't think that that's going to happen today. But there are certainly managers, Pep Guardiola's done it, Eddie Howe's done it, that you see that and you think, okay, he's setting him up for a fall here so that he can break that fall when the bad news comes. I don't think that will happen with Dec. I would start him today, but they do clearly have to manage his minutes quite carefully.
That's the kind of question for me. So I said on the show yesterday that this is a very different tournament. The extra game, the heat, the everything else that goes along with it. You know, already these tournaments are a grueling process. This is just adding on top of that with the extended circumstances. How much do you buy into the idea of, you know, squad cohesion, of players playing together as much as possible? Because if England win tonight and Panama don't get a result, then we are looking at already topping the group guaranteed. And I was saying yesterday, I'd rotate everyone. I'd take them all out. I'd rest them. I wouldn't risk them. And I got a lot of comments on that, as you can imagine, social media, and not in any way a toxic place, telling me what an idiot I was because you want to see these players playing together. How much do you kind of buy into those two philosophies? And how much do you think, if we win tonight, Declan Rice, let's just wrap him in cotton wool?
Well, I'm totally with you. And I don't understand the logic of
I liked you, Jim.
I don't understand the logic of not making changes. I mean, you have to protect players. You're turning an 8-game tournament into a 7-game tournament if you win today and the other result goes your way. So you bring Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins in, you protect Harry Kane, you protect Declan Rice. You don't need to play Saka. You look at the minutes of your centre-halves and Reece James, who's another player who has had an injury-hit campaign, so too John Stones. You decide what decisions you need to make from them. You give a little bit of World Cup experience to somebody like Dan Burn, who hasn't kicked a ball in the tournament. Why would you not do that? That doesn't make any sense. You don't need the cohesion. The cohesion can be built up on the training ground. It doesn't matter what England do against Panama if they win this game and the other result goes their way and England have won the group. That third game doesn't matter. All that can happen there is you get players injured, or you're stat packing. So, you know, make changes. You've got to make changes.
That's always the Harry Kane argument, isn't it, Master? Well, yeah, but what about the Golden Boot? I think Harry Kane would rather be lifting the World Cup trophy at the end of it rather than the Golden Boot. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I think he would as well. I think a lot of England fans as well would also argue that sentiment. One other change potentially that could happen in this match, the center-back pairing. It's very interesting. Obviously, Mark Guehi didn't start against Croatia. Do you think Thomas Tuchel puts Guehi in the starting 11 this time around, or does he stick with what he did in the first match?
I don't know. I find that a really difficult one to read. I think my guess is, and it is a guess, that he will stick with it and that he'll go Konsa and Stones, but I'm not sure. There's no word coming out of the camp that Guehi is back, and often you do get a little whisper on these things. Jed Spence coming in is something that has been mooted, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But my gut feeling is that, I mean, John wasn't very good by his standards, but that maybe he just needed that game. This will be an easy game on paper. It's an easy game because you're playing against a team that is much lower down the world rankings. I've got to be careful I don't say that too loudly, because just over my shoulder around the corner is where the Ghanaians are staying, and I don't want them to think that we're taking it easy. They said the other night that they would batter us, I think was the phrase that a couple of them used when we saw them as they walked out the team hotel. But all in good spirit, I have to say. But no, I don't know. I don't know what the situation will be in terms of that personnel of the back four. I think everything else picks itself. I don't think there'll be any change at the front end of the team, and my guess is he'll still go with Gordon ahead of Rashford on the left. At the back, though, maybe Spence comes in, and I don't know which side he would play. He could play on the right, could play on the left, and centre-half I think is a difficult call. I don't know what I'd do if I was them. I might be tempted to go with Guehi, but my guess is he will go with Konsa and Stones.
Jim, we've been loving hearing about your travel log as well. I listen to the Daily every day and hearing what you guys have been getting up to as well. But, you know, it has been a bit of a damp arrival into the Boston area. We obviously know all about the wonderful party that the Scots brought there. What's the atmosphere been like in the city? Have you seen a lot of England fans? Have they still been enjoying themselves despite the weather and as the city bought into them?
I bet Durham misses Dallas, huh? That oven. Yeah.
He does, yeah. He does.
Yes.
When he was in Dallas, he was half the man he used to be because we were all melting so much. Here, yeah, there are England fans buying into it, and in the room, this sounds like a criticism, it's absolutely not. In the room next door to me, this morning there was a young lad, I would imagine was 5 or 6, and he was singing "Football's Coming Home" at the top of his voice at an unearthly hour, which was great. Didn't wake me up. I was already awake and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I was not tempted to sing it back, I must admit, through the thin walls of the hotel. But there are definitely England fans in town. The Scots have been here as referencing traffic cones on the top of every statue that they could manage to get their hands on. And when we walked around the corner when we first arrived, before we realised where the Ghanaians were staying, there was a big... almost like sort of a mural, cardboard cutouts in the local park of Ghanaian players, and it said, "I love Ghana." And I wonder whether that was a message that the Scots had actually left us before they departed. But it turns out that no, it was the Ghanaians themselves.
They are all up in the comments. The Scots are all up in the comments, getting all excited about me wearing an England shirt and being embarrassed tonight. But I don't know. I think we're going to be fine tonight. I really do.
Yeah, we should be. I say we, journalistic in passion in.
Oh yeah, come on, Jim. You know you
partisan,
really
but it is. Listen, it is a we. I think that we will be okay. The bottom line is that if you want to win the World Cup, you need to be beating teams who are ranked outside the top 60 in the world. I mean, it's as simple as that. So this is a game that England need to win, and if they do win, and you would imagine the other result will go their way and that Panama won't beat Croatia, then they've earned themselves a free pass against the Panamanians, and that would be very, very good. It would be ideal.
Brilliant stuff. Jim Proudfoot, thank you so much for joining us. The wonderful Jim Proudfoot, live from Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you so much, sir. Enjoy the game tonight. Rest that voice up for today. Don't go singing through the walls at random people, and instead be ready to call a great game tonight.
Look at that, 5 or 6-year-olds.
Thank you.
Singing "It's Coming Home." Well, at some point, I guess the hope and optimism just gets beaten out of you, doesn't it?
I'm not sure they quite get the irony of the song probably at 5 or 6 years old, because that child has only lived through us going to semi-finals and finals of major tournaments. All right, one quarter-final but losing to the eventual winner. Like, he's only seen the era of the Harry Kanes, etc. of the world, and as much as, you know, I am a Southgate detractor as a final product, I thought he stayed at least a tournament too long. Still, the harmony within the camp, the positivity around the team, it's a very different... I love
mentioning this about Southgate.
Being a different... being an England fan in 2026 is very, very different to being an England fan going back to 2012, 2016, 2014 in the World Cup, all of those tournaments where... That's where true pessimism was. That's where I'd had it beaten out of me. And slowly I've built it back up to the point where now maybe I'm setting myself up for a fall. Maybe I'm a little too optimistic. But Mass Fiesta, England all the way. Big win against Ghana tonight. I'm getting excited, Master.
I wish that we had one more question I could ask Jim, because he gave a lot of praise to Noni Madueke, and I was on the trigger finger, ready to just interrupt him on that one.
His words were, "Noni Madueke's played well." A lot of praise feels like a stretch, but okay, Master, you do you.
Played well is a great praise. It's more than you expected, and a lot of English fans expected. Am I wrong?
He played better. We went on together the day after the England game, and I came on and I said, Noni Madueke played better. Final product, still an issue, but he played better. That's all I can ask for. Better again tonight.
He played well.
Better again
He's
next
playing
week.
well.
Keep Saka out.
He's playing
for the rest of the tournament. We'll win the World Cup.
Wow.
Right, coming up in the next hour, we're going to debate the GOATs of all time. Not just Messi, Ronaldo, Maradona, whoever wants to be, but we're doing a cross-sport GOAT draft. We're also going to have Erik Bielderman join us, friend of the show, wonderful man, to talk about that France performance last night. We'll preview the games tonight. We're going to do a fan appreciation society. It's going to be a fun next hour, because as much as possible, having had the conversation now, I want to distract myself from England for the next 60 minutes of YouTube action. We're on the S Word YouTube channel. We're on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. The podcast is available everywhere. Get involved, and we'll be back after these. Yeehaw.
Around here, we only use the F word.
talkSPORT presents
the S word. S Word, featuring Will Gavin and Master Tess Fassian. And a squad of big-name contributors. The S Word from talkSPORT.
Producer Gabs has just said in my ear, I said, he's Ghanaian of descent. And I said to him, I just thought you didn't wear the shirt tonight or anything else. He's gone, I'll wear it tomorrow after we win. Up the Black Stars. Love a little bit of that. You're tuned into the S Word, sponsored by Calcio. I'm Will Gavin here in London. The man to my left. Yeah? It's like looking in a mirror. It's confusing. It's Master Tess Fatsian. He's leaving Guadalajara. We got a great hour coming up. Erik Bielderman.
Buenos dias, Will.
Going to be here. Buenos dias to you and to all of our friends the other side of the pond. For those of you getting heavily involved in the chat as well, we are live on the S Word channel and on the talkSPORT channel. Still loads of you talking about the Messi-Ronaldo debate. So continue to get involved in that. Maybe we'll come back to it a little bit later in the show as well. We're going to be doing a little fan appreciation a little bit later on, as well as looking forward to the games. But before we get on to our GOAT draft, just a mention of something that we discussed on the show the other day that's ended up becoming a hot international topic. And just to say, congratulations, Jeremy Doku, on becoming a father. He travelled home with a Belgian team doctor back here to London, left the World Cup base in the United States, was here, his son was born, Praise, a great African name, to his wife, Shireen, with full approval of the Belgian Federation. He actually had a respiratory illness that meant he missed the Iran game anyway, despite being in the country for it. He'll be rejoining the squad in Seattle ahead of Belgium's decisive match against New Zealand later tonight. We're delighted for you. Congratulations, Jeremy. Let's hope that you can... what we need now is we need a goal in the final game, and we need a little celebration going on from you, because Belgium might not get through to the next stage unless we see some goals from you in the next game anyway. But yeah, congratulations, Jeremy Doku. Wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Congratulations, 100%.
Should we do the GOAT draft?
Yeah, you threw this GOAT draft on me as I woke up this morning, and I'll figure it out. Let's go. Tell me the rules.
Hey, we came up with it about 9 a.m. this morning UK time, but that was the middle of the night for you, admittedly. No, it wasn't. It was during the games last night. It was during the games last night. You had plenty of time. You could have...
I was asleep. Mas siesta. I told you, mas siesta. I was asleep.
I still believe mas fiesta, not mas siesta. I just think you stayed off Instagram last night. Siesta. That's all it was. The GOAT draft. So this is a draft to pick the greatest of all time from across sports. Few rules for you. We're only allowed to pick one person per sport. So one basketball player, one baseball player, one snooker player, if that's the direction you wanted to go. But women's and men's players can count separately. So you can have a GOAT women's footballer and a GOAT men's footballer, for example. So same sport, but different genders, counts separately. All right? We're going to start off with 5. We might go all the way to 10, because I will tell you that I wrote a list down this morning, and admittedly I doubled up in some sports with the concern that you would pick somebody I wanted to pick. My list is 32 people long. So
Jesus. See, again, in comparison, you can tell who created this segment based off of their scouting report that they have, and all I've literally got is a yellow and red card right in front of me. There is no scouting report, nothing. I'm just going off vibes.
Vibes alone might be the best idea for the GOAT draft. So let's tee it off. Let's get it underway. The GOAT draft, all-time greatest sports people, and just final rule, we're going to start off with our GOAT footballers on either side of the debate. So I have a coin. Master, heads or tails, for whether you pick first or second.
Tails never fails, Willie.
And just to be clear, so that you know I'm not cheating, we got
a coin toss.
We got coin jam. Oh, I done it off the screen. I tossed it too far. Right, I'm bringing it back. Right.
You had one job. Come on.
It is tails. It is. We'll just show it to.
I can't see.
It is tails. That's way out of focus.
I still can't see.
I promise you. You won, so it's not like I'm cheating.
Yeah.
Master, tails. You get to go first. So we have to start with our GOAT footballer, and then beyond that, it is a free for all. You go first.
I will go with the person that made me fall in love with this game, and that is R9, the original Ronaldo. That I think, to me, when I talk about the sport, when I talk about this game, when I talk about who was the person that made me mesmerized by the idea of participating in the sport and watching the sport, R9 is where I start and honestly sometimes where I end. That 98 World Cup and what I saw in 2002 as well, that run and stretch. I know it wasn't, everyone talks about the longevity of all these other GOATs and stuff, but what he was able to do with the ball at his feet, he could do it all. And to me, it still would be hard for me to find anyone in their prime that comes comparably close to the joy that R9 brought me. And last year I got to meet him as well. And he a guy that loves some Mas Fiesta as well. Bumped into him a couple times in Ibiza as well. Just
bumped into him in Ibiza. Listen to him. Clang.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely love
that. He's my GOAT. He's my GOAT in sport.
My numero uno, and I can't not do it after my diatribe at the top of the show. I'll take Leo Messi. I don't think I need to say any more. Who's second on your GOAT draft?
Oh, are we sticking to football here?
No. It is now open season. Any sports person, any sport, who are your GOATs? And we'll work our way through it. As we talked about in our pre-show meeting, do I go super British? Do I pick a bunch of people that are never going to be on your list? Do I save them for later on and try and wheeze a few out? But yeah, go on. Who's number 2 on your GOAT list?
Ooh, this one's tough. I guess I would go to the NFL. I haven't given it too much thought, but I guess this is the guy I just naturally come to when it comes to the NFL, and that's Michael Irvin. All right,
man, love it.
Michael Irvin, again, I am thinking personally to me, the people that impacted the game and made me fall in love with the game. And Michael Irvin, the number 88 playmaker, makes plays. Either he was going to catch that ball in a slant, he was going back to the ghetto, and he played in that kind of manner. And his demeanor, his tenacity, his physicality, his desire to win and to be a team player and to do everything he can to make sure he doesn't let his teammates down. There's only one Michael Irvin, and that's gonna be my GOAT. I'm sure you'll take Tom Brady. Go ahead, but that's fine with me.
Now you've got an NFL player off the board. I can save Tom Brady till later. Again, I feel like mine have been tapping so far. I'll take Michael Jeffrey Jordan because still to me, you can have your debates about LeBron and the longevity and everything else. 6 finals, 6 MVPs, a perfect record, changed the way the sport was played. A joy to watch. My first real introduction to basketball between him and my early love for Shaquille O'Neal in my young life as well. MJ, take him at 2, no problem. Who you got 3?
I'll take LeBron. Absolutely.
All right.
In terms of bringing a trophy back in 2016, the Heatles era, a high school prospect that was as touted as he was in America and living up to all the hype, somehow exceeding the hype as well, I think is something that, quite honestly, we'll never see ever again. And being the all-time point scorer in the NBA, taking the Cleveland Cavaliers to 5 or 6 straight finals, the run of dominance in which he's had. Again, with all due respect to Michael Jordan, you can talk about the 6 for 6 and all that stuff, but what LeBron was able to do in this era and continues to do in this era, I think will just never be replicated ever again in the sport.
I feel like now you've done basketball, I've done basketball. I feel like I should go and take the NFL player just to level the playing field a little bit, but I'll go off-piste a little bit, and I'll take an undisputed GOAT. A very difficult to argue in any way from his individual sport that he is the GOAT, and I'll take Tiger Woods. It's pretty simple. It's 15 major championships, did it all at such a young age, has been a true Grand Slam champion. Tiger Woods. Up next, come on, Master, who you got?
Fair enough. If you're going Tiger, I'm going Serena.
Oh,
the greatest
great shout.
tennis player I've ever seen in my life.
Great pick.
To this day, I am always intrigued by women's tennis because of Serena and Venus and her sheer dominance that she had, being able to, whether it's pregnancies, injuries, whatever the case it was, and everyone wanted to hype up the rivalry she was supposed to have with Maria Sharapova, and it was absolutely one-sided. I think what Serena did coming out of Compton, representing her community, and doing it in a stage in a sport in which wasn't the most welcoming and didn't really try to understand her a lot of times, and she's still doing it. Will, she's back. She's going to be in Wimbledon.
Unbelievable.
She has a tenacity about her that I just absolutely love, and maybe when I do make it back to London, maybe I'll get a chance to go swing up to Wimbledon and go catch her, play some doubles.
Oh, I've got too many on the list right now. Which direction do I go in? Actually, I'll tell you, Serena, other than Brady, Serena was next on my list. I'll get Brady off the list. It's mental that we've got all the way to 8. When a guy who has won 7 championships, done it at 2 different teams, most ever for an individual player at quarterback, just unbelievable record. I don't think I need to go on about why Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. The longevity, the performances, this 7 in 10, just unreal. Multiple time MVP. Tom Brady, I will take off this. I'm getting him at 8. I think that's sensational value.
You think that's sensational value? At number 9, I am taking Barry Bonds.
Yeah, nice.
The home run king. And also fellow Sun Devil alum.
It's nice to see a drug cheat go in the top 10, but other than that.
Listen, I don't care what you thought about Barry Bonds. He is the undisputed home run king. He is the greatest baseball player of all time. And even before Balco even broke out, he was an absolutely unbelievable baseball player. The 90s of being able to grow up and watch him and Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. I do not care what you think about that era. That was still to this day the most fun I've ever had watching baseball. And Barry Bonds was at the epicenter of that, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think no question about it. I think the Hall of Fame writers are being completely hypocritical here because they enjoyed an 8 off of every single home run ball that he hit, and now they won't let him in. I think it's absolutely stupid. He should be in the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to honor and recognize him as my GOAT.
I love that. I'll take it all day long. All day long. Wonderful stuff. I feel like we're underrepresented on the female side right now. I've got a couple of names, 3 other female names at the top of my list, and yet...
Who's we?
And yet...
I picked a woman.
You got Serena. Okay, well done. Well done. You're a wonderful ally, mate. Great for you. I would take a few off the list, but if Muhammad Ali doesn't go in the top 10 of GOATs, I will feel just ridiculous. And this is the only person I have on any of my lists that isn't of my era, isn't a guy that I got to watch. But I think boxing is a sport where it's... those highs are so specific and so, unique that you can go back and watch those fights. You can understand the impact that he had. And, as much as if you brought him into the modern era, would he have beaten Mike Tyson in his pomp? Would he have beaten, Klitschko in his pomp? Would he be? Maybe not. But what he meant for the sport, what he meant for the nation, what he meant for the international sporting fraternity and everything else, Muhammad Ali had to get into the top 10.
I'm glad you brought him up because I'll just take Iron Mike. I think Iron Mike is the greatest boxer we've ever seen. Again, you can kind of tell there's a certain a personality that I really enjoy.
Clearly.
The Iron Mikes, the Michael Irvins, those are the guys I love looking up to and seeing and they always performed at a different level because you could tell they went through a lot in their life, and this was their escape or their outlet that they had to cope with that. And Iron Mike in the ring, again, I was fortunate enough to have a chance to watch him in his prime. I was a kid at the time, but we used to watch parties all the time in my neighborhood and stuff for all these boxing fights for pay-per-views, and the joy, the spectacle that a Mike Tyson fight would present. It's just, to this day, it's been very hard to replicate. He is... seeing him knocking out people a lot of joy was found in that.
So off the board so far, just to do a recap: R9 Ronaldo, Messi, Michael Irvin, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, Tom Brady, Barry Bonds, Muhammad Ali, and Mike Tyson. I will take the most decorated gymnast of all time, with no less than 5 different gymnastic elements named after her because they are so difficult. The wonderful Simone Biles will come off the list. Probably my most modern pick of all of mine as well. Go on, Master, who's up next?
Well deserved. Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
You know what? I'm going to go to the 99ers. I'm going to go with Mia Hamm. I made a reference to her earlier in the show, and that commercial, I literally had a Michael Jordan Mia Hamm poster in the 90s hanging up on my wall next to Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Mia Hamm, in terms of what she did and what the U.S. women's national team did when we hosted the Women's World Cup in 1999 and the boom of women's soccer in the States as a result of that. Mia Hamm, her presence, her dominance, she completely captivated an entire generation of women, and there's a reason why to this day you're still going to see a ton of Mia Hamm kids going around all across the country. It's incredibly impressive what she did. And again, there may be arguments for other people to be made. Obviously, Marta right now has a great case of being the GOAT in terms of the sport, but Bonmatí as well in terms of what she's done. But for me, Mia Hamm, a seminal moment, not just for U.S. women's soccer, but women's soccer as a whole.
I did have and do have Marta on my list, but not quite ready to go there yet, I don't think. There's just a few who have got these unbelievable resumes, and so I'll take, while I'm on my Olympic vibe, I'll take Michael Phelps off the board as well, because just dominance, just pure dominance, pure sporting dominance.
You keep leaving me with that. Usain Bolt. Give me Usain Bolt. Give me the guy that literally made, and again, the 100-meter dash is a spectacle.
He's lasted to 15. Crazy he's lasted to 15.
Give me Usain Bolt. This guy was must-see TV. He literally would look at you and smile as he's crossing the finish line and beating you. Like, again, I have a certain type that I like in terms of athletes, and Usain Bolt definitely checks it off the box. The 100-meter dash to this day, we are still chasing the levels that it was when Usain Bolt was running. Like that era of Usain Bolt in the Olympics, it's going to be hard to replicate that ever again.
It's a sensational shout. Again, still very high on my list. I feel like, when we talk personal GOATs, I'm going to go male tennis here, and I'm going to pick the guy that I enjoyed watching more, the guy who just oozed class, was the Wimbledon legend as well. And as much as he is one behind the all-time lead in terms of men Grand Slam titles, I'm going to say Roger Federer, just because he's just a joy to watch and just a classy human being. I love Novak as well. Do you know what? I love Novak's cockiness as well. Some people really hate him for it. I like his competitive fire, but Roger just shades it for me.
How many more picks we got?
I would say 2 more each to get to round off. So we got a 10 each.
Man, we are getting in some niche areas,
mate. Now. We are not. I've got so many big names still at the top of the list.
Because you've got a whole scouting report. I'm just going off the cuff right now.
Mate, you're good enough on your sport that you can do this off the cuff.
You know what? Will I take the first English person off the board?
There is no English person off the board, and I'll tell you, I was out of interest because I put Marta on my list, and because I was looking at the women's football side of things. I went and looked up an all-time women's 100 list. 442 did one last year, and the highest-ranked English woman was Lucy Bronze at 45. Like, a little bit of disrespect there, just a little bit, but yeah, go on. Who's
well, they did ban the sport for 50 years in the country,
yeah,
so
it's true. Yeah, it's true.
So I'm just bringing that up. I'm gonna go to darts.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Luke the Nuke Littler.
He's gone with Littler over Phil the Power Taylor. This is astonishing.
Come on.
This is astonishing. This is an absolute disgrace. I thought Phil Taylor was going to be one of those back pocket ones that I had for bringing up later on down the line if I got a chance to. So I've only got 2 more to go. And
he's so good at his age right now. He might quit and just start gaming. The GOAT. The GOAT.
So I've got... I feel like I could go on forever here. I truly could go on forever. There's so many great ones. I really want to pick Pete Webber, the bowler who said, "Who do you think you are? I am." I just want to put him on my list because he's the funniest of all time. We've got no racing drivers at all. Schumacher, Senna, somebody like that would be amazing. I am going to, however... do I take an undisputed great who I don't care about, or do I take somebody I actually enjoyed watching? That's the question. Because there is...
Come on. You said you wanted to pick 10 each, and you said we can run through this. The segment's running out. Pick a guy, pick a person, pick a woman, pick a man.
I'm taking the little master. Sachin Tendulkar, the greatest cricket player of all time. And people talk about Don Goodman. He was playing in the 30s. I didn't watch him. I watched Sachin Tendulkar. Sensational. He's going off. I can't believe he's lasted this long. Unbelievable.
I got one more pick.
Yeah, you got one more pick.
Listen, I know IndyCar racing and has taken off right now in Formula One. But back in my day, it was boogity in NASCAR, so I'm going with Dale Earnhardt, the original Dale Earnhardt. Rest in peace.
Beautiful.
What a driver. What a driver he was. I got to speak my southern accent just to tell you how great he was of a driver. Really changed the game, really changed the sport. Again, as someone that used to watch it on the weekends, huge fan of Dale Earnhardt. Rest in peace, the legend, the GOAT.
I'll tell you who I really want to take here. Is Stone Cold Steve Austin, because I did put him on my list.
I should have gone with wrestling. Why did I not think of it? I mentioned him too. I mentioned him.
I'm doing
From
it.
Victoria, Texas.
I'm doing it. Stone Cold Austin is making the end of the list. Clang the beers together, baby. Let's go. Can I just tell you some of the people that have missed out here? Steffi Graf, Novak Djokovic, Marta, Bo Jackson, Jonah Lomu, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, Eddie Merckx.
Oh, Wayne. I forgot about Wayne Gretzky.
Tony Hawk, Shaun White, Katie Ledecky, Lindsay Lindsay Vonn, AP McCoy, that's very specific, Amanda Nunes, John Jones, Gary Slater, Kelly Slater. I had some unbelievable ones still on the list, and yet I still think that's a sensational 20. So that's our GOAT draft. Get up in the comments. Let us know what you think. And coming up, Erik Bielderman will be joining the show, because one man who thinks he could be the GOAT when it comes to World Cup goal scoring is Kylian Mbappe. We'll talk about that up next here on the S Word.
From kickoff to the full-time whistle, talkSPORT presents the S Word. talkSPORT presents the S Word. High energy exchanges, fiery fan reactions, and the biggest football debate. The S Word from talkSPORT.
As always, the internet is undefeated on all these things. We've just done our GOAT draft, picked our top 10 all-time GOATs, and chat got involved as well. The Rubel says Mike Bassett, England's finest England manager of all time. Ollie offered up Gabby Agbonlahor. Where is he on your list? Becky says David Beckham's the GOAT. I'm not sure anyone's making that argument outside of the Beckham household, but we love him. We love him. It's Sir David and everything else, but I don't think anyone's calling him the GOAT, and there is still plenty of chat going on about Cristiano Ronaldo versus Lionel Messi. Still to come on the show, we'll do the Fan Appreciation Society with some of our favourite moments from around the World Cup in the last couple of days, including some Masters exciting times out in Guadalajara, Mexico. I'm Will Gavin, back in London. This is the S Word, sponsored by Kalshi. But let's talk a little bit of France. And as we talk France, I want to hear from Erling Haaland. I know that may sound a little bit backwards as we do so. The French with the French with a dominant performance either side of a thunderstorm to ease into the knockout stages of this tournament. Yeah, Haaland, they go up Norway against Senegal. They win 3-2. They reach the knockout stages themselves. And then Haaland speaks with talkSPORT's very own Katie Shanahan, working on Fox Soccer after the game. And let's say, is pretty honest about the situation.
Next is France and the likes of Kylian Mbappe. How big a challenge is that going to be for Norway? You guys in flying form, can't wait for it.
Honestly, I don't care too much now. We're through. We managed to get through, which is incredible. So I couldn't care too much about that game now. They're probably going to win against us. They're probably going to win the whole tournament.
Well, that's quite the statement. But congratulations, through to the knockout stage, and you can't stop smiling, so well done.
You could tell Katie afterwards was like, sorry, what? And that was quite the statement. They're probably going to beat us. They're probably going to win the whole tournament. Well, a man who every time he joins us wins our hearts is the wonderful Erik Bielderman. The former editor of L'Equipe, Erik Bielderman. How are you, my good friend?
Good to talk to you. You look great to this morning or this afternoon, depends on where we are, where you are.
It's wonderful to see you, Erik. Are the French, off the back of these opening two performances, feeling as confident as Erling Haaland is about where your position is in this tournament?
I think we still believe that Spain is the favorite of the tournament. We are quite optimistic with the way Kylian Mbappe made huge performances on the two games, scored goals, but also was involved as a teammate, was involved in the defensive process. It's not the Mbappe of Real Madrid, it's the Mbappe of the World Cups. And when the Mbappe of the World Cup is on the field, we can really expect the very best of France. Behind that, very shortly, we have some question mark. I would say the first question mark that we do have is our wing backs. Whatever is the left side of the right side, we have had two different players on the two different games, and none of them has really achieved to get us with a big confidence. And the very last point, Maignan, the goalkeeper, have not so far given the performances that we were used to have him a couple of years ago. So we are optimistic, but we have to be realistic in the meantime.
To focus back in on Kylian Mbappe, Erik, I know me and you were both a bit concerned kind of where he was at and if he would perform, but obviously, as Kylian Mbappe tends to do in World Cups, he has been delivering. I want to take it back to right before the World Cup. He had a press conference where he agreed with the fact that he did have to do more and had to contribute defensively. Do you think that was a turning point, that press conference, and Kylian Mbappe essentially calling himself out and acknowledging the criticism that he's received, and looking at these two performances now, are we seeing a different Kylian Mbappe on this France side that is being more of a team player than maybe we had anticipated a couple weeks ago?
I would say the turning point is the end of the season with Real Madrid, not a single trophy. Took a couple of years without achieving with Real Madrid, only individual achievements, scoring goals and goals and goals. So with that point, you knew that going to the World Cup was to him the only chance to prove something to himself, to the others, and maybe win a trophy like the World Cup, and maybe, which is quite important also to him, to be a favorite for the Ballon d'Or. So all that together gives him, in 45 days of tournament, more to achieve than during the whole season with Real Madrid.
One thing I noticed during this game, Erik, and in the second half against Senegal, when France put the foot down and took over, we saw Michael Olise move into a more central position. He did the same again to start this game. Do you think that's how they're best set up in the front four, with Olise inside, with Dembele outside?
Yeah, I think it is the best situation that we can technically expect. But Didier Deschamps, during the 2 hours of rain and thunderstorm yesterday, I've spoken to the players and then I've spoken a bit to us. And he explained that he felt that Dembele was not really playing where he was due to play as a right winger, but he was attracted to go to play in the same position than Olise, in the same position behind Mbappe, and that there was a lack of balance of the team. And when you look at the second half of the yesterday night game, you see that Dembele have made a better tactical position by being a kind of a winger. So, of course, it is working if the players individually do believe that the team spirit and the team tactical issue is more important than the attraction, because Dembele is a central forward with Paris Saint-Germain, and if he's a Ballon d'Or, it's because he's achieving as a central forward. But for the goodwill of France, he has to play wide right, and this is the only chance for France to have a balanced offensive squad.
Everyone's talking about Messi breaking the all-time goal-scoring record in the World Cup, but Mbappe's on his heels. He saw Messi score a brace, and he scored a brace right afterwards. And we've talked about this time and time again. Mbappe is just driven in such a different way, where this feels like a guy that's trying to break that record this summer and surpass Lionel Messi. Do you get the same sentiment?
Yeah, I think he's very selfish. So even if he plays for France and he's really working as a team player, but never forget that he's a selfish guy. And most of the strikers are selfish, but he's the selfish of the selfish. So with that, we know that if he can do it, he will do it. We do hope that he won't make it a more important challenge than to win as a team. But I do believe that it is somewhere in his mind, and he doesn't hide it. He wants to make history. And to make history, for years, the game was between Messi and Ronaldo. And now the challenge is Messi versus Mbappe. And to be the man who enter history as the best ever goal scorer, Mbappe is such a younger player compared to Messi that it means that if he is achieving for this World Cup, in 4 years' time, we can bet he can score maybe 5 or 10 goals more.
From your perspective, we talked about Kylian Mbappe's defensive involvements, and I see Michael Olise chasing back, Doué occasionally, but it does feel like a French team who, right now, having gone up against two teams they would be expected to beat on paper, a slightly disappointing Senegal side, admittedly so. Is there any concern that when you come up against better opposition, that there is an imbalance, that there are almost too many riches and not enough grinders in that team who will chase back, who will work hard when you're coming up against really top-tier opposition?
Yeah, to me, is a vital point that you do mention. Didier Deschamps have won tournament and is addicted as a manager to the 4-3-3 system. That means that huge working players in the midfield and 3 wingers left, winger right, and a striker. And if that, he has to drop one player. At the moment, if you have to drop one player in terms of performances, you have to drop Dembele. You have to drop the Ballon d'Or. So it's politically very complicated to Didier Deschamps to do that. But if we do play Spain, if we do play England, if we do play Argentina, I think we might be killed in the midfield with only 2 players, Tchouaméni and Rabiot. So when the knockout phase will come and when a strong opponent will come, depending on what's going to be the next round, for sure, tactical question will be at the central of the debates in France.
Do you feel more optimistic now about France than you did before this tournament started? Because, again, we both had our own skepticisms, but as much as Will wants to knock the competition, I mean, they did beat Senegal, and I thought that was an impressive performance. And the wins in which they've had, I think Senegal is a much more impressive.
By the way, it's a fair to question.
You said it all show. No, you have knocked Argentina. Argentina beat Algeria and Austria, and I've yet to hear you say on the show through 90 minutes now that Argentina has not faced stiff competition in this tournament where France beat Senegal. Like that is not something to scoff at.
It's completely fair to question that they will come up against much better teams, and whether that front four.
Of course.
He's got to do more
Argentina
when they go against better teams.
Before you wax poetically about Messi.
Of course, the same.
You haven't said that yet. This is the first time you acknowledged it on the show.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Nonsense.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
I need people in the comments. Verify that for me. Validate that for me. But go ahead, Eric.
Selective listening. That's what that is.
You know, I am quite optimistic, but I am not feeling that if we have to reach Spain during the semi-final, for instance, that might be a final before the final. We know that beating Senegal before the game was to be said to beat the African champion, to beat a team was beaten us in 2002, and a team which, if they win one game during the tournament, is to beat France. That was something. But in the second half, you have seen a very poor Senegal. So what is the meaning of this win? Okay, some goals, great goals. Second game, Iraq. What means to beat Iraq? Nothing. So Norway will give us the flavor of something. Whatever we finish first or second, we can have some headache about maybe it's better not to win because we might have an easier knockout phase. So that's the kind of debate. You never get a clue with Didier Deschamps. He will never be a kind of manager to say, okay, maybe if we make a draw, if we lose, or that's not the point. The point is, we are having a big trust of this team, but Spain. My only fear, I must say, is Spain. And if I have to say 2 other teams where it's a 50-50 knockout phase, I would bet Argentina and England.
Yes, well, what to hear, Eric. You don't.
Yeah, I don't say it because you have 3 lions. I say it.
Nah, you did. Come on, Eric.
We have got 3 lions: Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham.
You are. Yeah, Harry Kane is 3 lions on himself.
Thank you very much. because you know who has played a great team is us in Croatia. Yeah. So there you go. Eric, wonderful stuff from you as well. As always, we appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you, Eric.
Wonderful Erik Bielderman joining the show. I literally said earlier when they come up against better teams.
No, you did not. You've knocked on France's competition at least 5 times on this show already. And that was the first time you acknowledged Argentina did not have stiffer competition throughout this tournament.
You love telling me how we shouldn't disrespect the smaller nations, how everyone's qualified to be here, how the expanded tournament is great, and yet you're happy to knock Argentina's opponents because that fits your narrative. Because that fits your narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative.
I'm glad you finally acknowledged it.
A Senegal team who in the second half disappointed massively.
They did. but it's still a good Senegalese side that unfortunately is going through a lot right now. I completely agree. What would you like to say about Algeria? Outside of Riyad Mahrez, can you name another player on Algeria? How about Austria?
What I will say about Algeria is it kicked off here at 4 a.m, so I watched the 8 minutes highlights when I woke up. I'm sorry about that. I did not watch the whole game. It looked interesting, but I am doing the Algeria game live on talkSPORT this weekend, so I'm going to go back and watch both games because I have to talk about them ad nauseam. So let's have this conversation again on Saturday or Sunday.
A great comeback win from Algeria. A lot of people were knocking the crowds, and this looked like a potential match that maybe could have had some empty seats. That crowd, that atmosphere in the Bay Area, that looked fantastic. Shout out to the Jordanian fans. Shout out to the Algerian fans, both with huge diasporas in the States. They showed up and showed out at that one. Tremendous atmosphere. And one for the records right now, because these stadiums are getting full, Will. I remember people saying they weren't going to be full. I thought that was a huge narrative. Americans wouldn't show up for this thing. And lo and behold, we continue to set records for most attended days in a World Cup. So, c'est la vie.
Proud of you, buddy. Well done. Right, coming up, we are going to...
I'm proud of America. I'm proud of America, buddy. That's what I'm proud of.
We are going to do
there you go, Gabs.
Our Fan Appreciation Society is on the horizon.
I'm proud of Mexico, too.
We might also do a little Jordan Pickford. We got some TalkSPORT coverage from that. Troy Deeney, David C.
I thought you didn't want to talk about England.
Going at it head-to-head. Nah, we'll talk some England. That's fine. I can get over it.
Oh, now you do. Well, you're in the fourth quarter now. You want to talk about England?
Yeah.
Put your fours up, baby.
Where we throw.
Yeah, that is, guys.
Oh, put
your fours up.
Put your fours up. Disappointing. You're all...
Got a nice little hydration break coming up right now.
Indeed we do. This is the social sponsored by Calci. The social.
He said the social. This is the S word presented by Calci. We'll see you after this hydration break,
look
baby.
at somebody actually doing a hosting job. Good for you, mate.
Big name reaction from both sides of the pond. The S word from talkSPORT. talkSPORT presents The S Word. Listen again and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on the talkSPORT USA YouTube channel.
What show are we on again? Oh, it's the S Word from...
The S Word, baby.
By Calci. I'm Will Gavin.
Put your fours up, Will. Come on. Put your fours up. Put your fours up,
as
baby.
close as I'm getting. I told you, there is a condition under which I will throw the fours up, and it's not yet. It's not yet. It could be coming. We'll wait and see.
You may have to do it before it happens, just to help convince the fact that it should happen.
You're wearing me down slowly but surely, so let's see. You are watching the S Word, sponsored by Calci. Will Gavin here in London, ready for the England game tonight. The main man, Master Test Fatsian, will preview some of the games coming up momentarily. But first, let's have some fan appreciation. And listen, they've been the story of the tournament so far. The wonderful Scots have brought the passion, they've brought the power, they have been just stunning in the Boston area. And yes, the England fans have turned up there and they've also represented well and had very positive response.
They have. They absolutely have.
It's wonderful to see. They also got a really good response in Dallas and in Texas as well. So England fans...
I saw zero arrest in Dallas. No,
what more can you ask for? What more can you ask for?
Huge. And all my friends that were there, they had a great time with English fans. So, hey, seriously, big credit, big kudos. I'm glad all the English fans had a great time. And hopefully Durham misses it in chilly and cold Foxborough or Boston, wherever he's at in the Northeast.
The rain today, it's ready for some hard-hitting Premier League-style football. Ghana's not going to...
Can you do it on a cold, rainy night in Foxborough? Can you? Can England do it on a cold, rainy night in Foxborough?
Actually, 19 degrees is a little bit warm. That's more like a summer's day here, so it could be a little colder. I'm just saying, it could be a little colder. I wonder if we're going to get some long sleeves.
Beggars can't be choosers.
But... no Scotland, no party. And they've gone to one of the great party cities in the United States. And they have taken over. Having gone to a Red Sox game and taken over in Boston at the Great Fenway Park, they have gone to the site of the Miami Marlins, where, they maybe don't enjoy quite as big a fan base, but the Scots brought the action and Shabbat Ahern was there.
Baseball when we know nothing about baseball.
The party was good though. That's what we're here for.
What's your prediction against Brazil?
Oh, at least 10-1.
It looks like we're out of the group already. Looks like it.
Well, like qualified. Hey, Ma, I'm not coming home. Sorry about that.
Right, you've just adopted Maggie today by the sounds.
Now we have.
I had met them when I was trying to get a drink. Scotland, were you?
Ken.
What's it like having the Scotland fans in town?
Honestly, not many people go to these games, so for there to be people is already awesome. I'm happy.
Do you think Scotland?
That's awesome.
Come on, let's go! Is that your biggest fan?
What? Hilts on, tops off. Aye, exactly. Cheers.
That's my dad.
He hits me. To the last one. Yeah! Come on.
Oh, no way. No Scotland, no party. See what's something on me.
Absolutely joyous stuff. Tops off, kilts on. Love it from the Scots.
Come on.
Brilliant stuff. Shabana did
Come
a
on,
wonderful job
Shaban.
as well. It's so weird as well. The last time I was at Marlin Park was before the Super Bowl there in 2020, which was just before we went into lockdown for the pandemic, right? And it was just as people were starting to wear face masks and starting to become a bit aware of it, and they were starting to bring into, like, so kind of see it like with a full-on Scottish party there, and like it brought a little bit of joy to my soul to see that. Although Miami looking maybe a little overcast, the Scots bringing the weather with them as well. So
yeah, monsoon season, El Nino is in full effect, as I said, Will. But you know that place only gets packed when it's the World Baseball Classic. Mm-hmm. So to see some sort of atmosphere at Marlins Park, I had a bunch of friends who were there as well. Good on them. Well, they somehow keep watching Texas Rangers games. When they were in Boston, the opponent was the Texas Rangers. Now in Miami, it's the Texas Rangers as well. I wonder if there's any Celtic fans that were just like, I'm not going to see any Rangers of any sort. I don't want to be a part of this.
You sent us a thing about there was a Rangers player who has appeared on local media.
Jake Berger,
yeah, who's been fully buying into Scots. But when you first said to me, I'm going to reach out to Rangers, I opened the text fully expecting you to mean Glasgow Rangers. I'm like, oh, you mean the Texas Rangers, right?
Texas Rangers. Yeehaw! I'm going and talking to the Texas Rangers, and they've been playing based off the report during the broadcast. They've been playing No Scotland, No Party throughout the clubhouse as a result of the experience they had in Boston. So not only is it impacting baseball experiences and Scotland walking away with an American sports experience, but they're also influencing the clubhouses in baseball all across this beautiful country. I
know there's plenty of people out there listening to us on SiriusXM FC as well. So if you want to see the visuals from these clips, do head over to the YouTube channel. We'll post the clips as well, or Shabana Hearn's own Instagram. One person being David Lake, who's got in touch with the show to say how much he's enjoying it. So thanks for listening.
Shout out David Lake.
What a man. What a man. I have no idea who he is, but I just told he's listening. Let's do Master in Mexico. Have we got a clip of that? Master
Which clip? Which clip? Which clip are we doing on this one?
Just bring it to me. Just show me Master having a party.
Oh, yeah.
These are Colombian.
So this is
the day before, right?
Yes, this is Colombian fans before the day before. Last night, they had a huge gathering in the streets of Guadalajara. Completely took it over. Mind you, there was a huge downpouring, a monsoon essentially that happened here in Guadalajara that delayed this gathering just a little bit. But once the skies cleared up, they slowly but surely hit the streets, and traffic was absolutely insane. We were able to catch the start of it with all the Colombian fans gathering around, and well, this crowd is probably going to be like 80 to 90% Colombians. It is a complete Colombian takeover here in Guadalajara. And I also want to give a shout out to Guadalajara. What an unbelievable World Cup city this has been. A tremendous experience. I wanted to make sure I came down to Mexico, a country in which has hosted the World Cup more than any other, and they know how to do it. They know how to mas fiesta. I came down to Guadalajara for this experience. They're fan fest, unlike in America where some cities charge a certain fee. Here it is free 99. You walk in as long as there's space, and the space is a massive music festival essentially. Between hydration breaks, there's a DJ just blasting music at all times. At the nighttime, after the final match, they've got mariachi bands, they've got live music. Everyone is dancing, everyone is having a great time. The energy is always just high. It is going to be very, very hard for me to find a city that has celebrated and embraced and enjoyed the World Cup more than Guadalajara has. So, gracias, Guadalajara. Mucho gracias. From all the people I've met here that have incredibly just embraced me, showed me a great time, showed me some great taco spots, showed me some great experiences here. Very much. Thank you so much.
Where is my sombrero? Where is my poncho? That's what I need right now. Mas fiesta, brother. Mas fiesta.
I'm not gonna lie, Will. I'm kind of debating because they're convincing me to try and stay another day because Mexico plays tomorrow, and I'm sure you've seen some of the watch party footages. The watch party here in Guadalajara gets absolutely insane when Mexico plays. So all of my Mexican friends I've met here in Guadalajara are literally telling me, extend your trip another day. And if I do, Will, I'm probably going to look like you. I'll probably be sombreroed out on Thursday with a poncho on and just, calling people mi hermano.
How quickly can I get to Guadalajara? That's the question. And how quickly can I get my wife to agree to me going to Guadalajara and her looking after the twins on her own? Who knows?
The amount of weight I'm gaining here, and you can see these cheeks are just bulging as each day passes by here in Guadalajara. At a certain point, I got to ask myself, how quickly can I get out of here? Because the only green vegetables I'm eating right now is salsa verde.
Look, 4 games tonight. Portugal, Uzbekistan, a huge game from a Portuguese perspective. England taking on Ghana, we've talked about a little bit already. Panama, Croatia, elsewhere in that group. Plus the game you're going to be at, Colombia against DR Congo.
Great slate.
Listen, we haven't talked any USMNT really today in the show, which is kind of anti what we do with this show, which is meant to be appealing to US soccer fans. We're sorry about that, America. Would you rather hear from Florin Balogun, or would you rather talk about the England goalkeeper situation in the 3 minutes we have remaining?
Give me America, baby.
Yeah, let's go.
American show.
Come on. He spoke with our very own Ben Jacobs was at the USMNT media availability, and Florin Balogun was asked if there was a sense of magic around this side right now.
I think there's definitely belief. Whether I would call it magic, I'm not sure, but there's definitely a belief we have, within ourselves. And I feel like I said before, there's up to maybe 15, 20 guys who would put their life on the line, for a win, for a result, to block a goal. And when you have that sort of mentality, I feel like you're always going to give yourself the best chance. That's rare.
Well, USMNT play on Thursday night out in the US, Friday morning here in the UK against Turkey. And look, we can start to be looking forward to that game. Don't you worry. Mark, you're not on the show tomorrow, though. Now if you're going to be travelling to stay in Guadalajara at night, then who knows what's going to be happening. Just pop in for a guest appearance with... We've got Flex, we've got Durham on the show, Rory Jennings is going to be here. You can't let it...
If I wake up. If I wake up.
You can't let it be just all Englishmen taking over.
Listen, if somehow Ghana gets a result, I will find a way to wake up at 6 a.m. If not, enjoy your 3 points.
I appreciate it.
And I'll see you on Thursday.
Oh, you only get to wake up if Ghana win. I see. Or a point.
I'll be at this Colombia-DR Congo match as much as I've enjoyed being around my Colombian friends out here. The African, they're being denied visas. They can't travel to this country. They can't travel to North America. I got to help compensate for the fact of the absence of African fans in this World Cup. They are noticeably missing. So I will be in a Congolese shirt. I'll be supporting Ghana. Unfortunately, still trying to support Senegal, even though they can't support themselves. We're doing our best here. Will. All right?
Love it. And then after that, you back off to LA, you back off to New York, you just pinging around. What's your next destination after that? Your travel log master.
I have to go back to LA at some point. I don't have enough clothes. So, but it could be a quick stop in LA and then going to New York. I got to figure out, because I'm waiting for the schedules to start kind of, which match day 3 match do I want to attend, or where do I want to watch the watch parties. And now you start locking in on the group of 32 and seeing, these live brackets as they keep unfolding themselves. Where do I want to be? I would love to be at Brazil, Scotland, and Miami tomorrow, even though that feels impossible. Portugal, Colombia looks like an amazing experience in Miami as well later on this week. So many different possibilities. But let's see how it all plays out.
We're going to wake up on the show tomorrow. Master's going to be on a plane to Miami, isn't he? It's just that's destined to happen.
Listen. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it.
Thank you so much to everyone who's tuning into the show. Great following on the YouTube channels today on talkSPORT and talkSPORT S-Word. Loads of people getting up in the comments. Great to hear people listening on SiriusXM FC, on TuneIn as well, where I know the podcast has been very popular. We're available on Spotify. We're available on Apple Podcasts as a video. And you can find us on Tubi in video form, Fox Soccer, all over our own socials, which you can see, if Master would like to point to his left, on Instagram, on X, on YouTube.
Oh, whoa, Hey, there you go.
Well, yeah, you did a beautiful thing. Well done, sir. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in.
I did like a wide receiver.
Touchdown. We will be back tomorrow with an England party, we hope, or a commiseration, one way or
Good
the
luck.
other. Have a great day. Enjoy, and we'll be back with the S Word from 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Put your fours
I'm not
up.
putting my fours up.
From the touchline to the terraces, talkSPORT presents the S Word.